Thank you, councillors. Welcome everybody to the October scheduled meeting of Swan Hill Rural City Council, and welcome all councillors and directors, officers, members of the gallery and people watching on the recording. Swan Hill Rural City Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pays its respects to their elders past and present. Councillor Moore, the prayer please.
We beseech you, Lord, that we may be granted wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose in the decisions we are called on to make for the welfare of the people of the rural city of Swan Hill.
Amen. Thank you. Please be seated. We have an apology today from Councillor McPhee. Could I have somebody to move the apology be accepted? Moved Councillor Jeffrey, seconded. Councillor Young, those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Directors and officers present. We have CEO Scott Barber, Director of Community and Cultural Services Bruce Myers, Director of Infrastructure Leah Johnston, Director of Development and Planning Michelle Granger, and Director of Corporate Services Mr Barn Patat. We also have Sharon Lindsay, Executive Assistant, and Melinda O'Dowd, Governance and Compliance Officer, and Dennis Hovenden, Economic and Community Development Manager. Welcome. Confirmation of the minutes, councillors. So that we're confirming the minutes of the scheduled council meeting held on the 10th of September 2024 and the unscheduled council meeting held on the 16th of September 2024. Can I have somebody to move those minutes, please? Councillor Jeffrey, seconder. Councillor Moore. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Disclosures of conflict of interest. Do we have any disclosures of conflict of interest, councillors? If not, we will move on. We have no joint letters or petitions to read. We have no request for public question time, nor any request for open forum. So prior to starting section 2 of the meeting, which is the officer reports for decision, I'll just read a statement in relation to this meeting from a governance perspective, given that we are in the caretaker period. This meeting is being held during the 2024 local government election period, or caretaker period as it is commonly known, and is subject to the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020 and its regulations. This means that there are a number of prohibitions in place at this time, including the use of council resources and the intentional or reckless distribution and communication of material that is intended to or likely to affect the voting in an election. During the election period, councils have significant restrictions placed on their decision-making role and are limited in their ability to conduct community consultation. To make sure that we meet our obligations, I have determined that we will not be live streaming this meeting in accordance with Governance Rule 12.3 Section 4 and our election period policy. A copy of the recording will be placed on Council's website once it has been certified for release in line with our election period procedures. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, would you be able to read out section 12.4 that you referred to?
Section 12.3. Sorry, good guts. Sorry, I didn't have them handy, ready to go today. Sorry about that. 12.3. 12.34 is all I need. So, 12.3 Section 4, Councillor Kelly has requested the Council or the Chairperson may determine that live or recorded video of a meeting may occur. Such video will be controlled by a person appointed by the Chief Executive Officer. So by that, I can determine whether or not it is live or recorded. So it's not being live streamed, but it is being recorded. It will be checked by our governance people prior to being uploaded to the website to ensure that everything is compliant with the relevant sections of the Local Government Act. Is there any other questions, councillors, in relation to that statement? Thank you. If not, we will move on to the rest of the agenda. Section 2.1, Swan Hill Incorporated 2024-25 Budget and Marketing Plan. Ms Granger, you kicking this one off?
No, I'll ask Mr Hovenden to provide an overview to Council on this.
Thank you. Mr Hovenden.
Thank you. I hope that's working. Okay. Mayor and councillors, for the past 18 years, the council, in accordance with the Local Government Act, has been collecting a special marketing rate on behalf of Swan Hill Incorporated, and it is a requirement under the Local Government Act that the Swan Hill Inc. representatives come before the council at an assembly and present their forthcoming marketing plan and annual budget, so that the council, as a part of the process, can then actually adopt the budget and marketing plan prior to the council then distributing the funds that are collected on behalf of Swan Hill Inc. members and allow Swan Hill Inc. to continue the work that they're doing. So, as I said, this is the 18th year that the council has been involved with the special levy, and they are currently in the levy period of the most recent levy period, 2019-2026. Once council has considered the marketing plan and budget, upon adoption, the council can then start distributing the funds collected. It is a critical time for Swan Hill Inc. and obviously the community at large that is covered by the levy, as they continue to recover from the COVID pandemic period. All signs are indicating in the information provided by Swan Hill Inc. that the numbers are returning, which is a very positive sign. The Swan Hill Inc. board representatives fulfilled their requirement at a councillor assembly and gave a presentation with respect to what they intend doing with the funds that are collected. They will continue in the next 12 months to strongly market the Swan Hill region. They are having a revamped, refreshed and relaunched campaign to get people into our area. Pleasingly, I think the numbers are starting to steadily grow. They are also looking to contribute towards major events that are held within the Swan Hill region and support local businesses through buy local campaigns, market days, etc. Swan Hill Inc. and the council officers and councillors continue to work in a very strong relationship in the pursuit of marketing our region as being a must-see destination, and in accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Act, the Swan Hill Inc. board has presented their budget and their marketing plan. It should be noted that in the past couple of years their expenditure has been down, and they had to report that to council, and subsequently how they were going to address the reduction in the expenses and not spending all of their income, and they've successfully done that in the plan that they presented, and they will be increasing their activities for the next 12 months, and council looks forward to the continuation of what has been a very successful partnership, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Hobbiton. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Young, just your microphone, Councillor Young, please. Thank you.
As an incorporated body, do they have to adopt any suggestions that are made by council, or can they just consider them and not necessarily adopt them? They don't agree?
Through you, Mr Mayor, to Councillor Young, the purpose of the board representatives coming to council in an assembly forum is to present a plan and allow the councillors to do exactly just what Councillor Young has put forward. That's either to make suggestions or, in fact, the council could, if they felt that the plan wasn't going to be to the benefit of the community and the business community, make suggestions back to them. The board would have to take that on, take those suggestions and either amend their document or agree with it and implement it in the plan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Moore.
Yeah, I was just going to move as per the recommendation.
Move as per recommendation. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Jeffrey. Councillor Moore, you wish to speak to the motion.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you.
This important document which delineates where some of ratepayers' money are the people who contribute to this, businesses that contribute to this fund that promotes Swan Hill, and I see, interestingly, more of a regional basis and a livability basis and a business attraction basis rather than just tourism alone here. Obviously, there are many challenges facing the business community online shopping, and the plethora of events throughout the region. Come this time of the year, it's basically, there's half a dozen things you could do either in town or within the region or within the state. So these are very big challenges. The biggest challenge of all, of course, is the economic times. Obviously, cost of living is going up and people have less disposable income to spend either touring or in discretionary income to spend within the town. So these are the challenges. I see that with the SWOT analysis that these are recognised by and large, and they are addressing them and doing the absolute best they can to promote the town through its either tourism attractions or its livability here to live, work and play here, Mr Mayor. I commend the group on this and wish them all the best in the coming year because there will be many challenges. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Jeffrey, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to fully endorse the budgeting and marketing plan and just congratulate Swan Hill Inc. on the work that they do and they have been doing and are going to continue to do for our business and our marketing. They do, as the report and the plan is, they do market our area for tourism and attracting people to come here and experience the Maui River, whether it's fishing or on the river or on the lake or boat racing or skiing, visiting our history both here and they do a little bit of Robinvale, but it's more swimming focused. Opportunity to golf and fishing, I think, are covered, motorsports as well. But they also they put together, like on Sunday, they had their Super Sunday Shopper marketing event, which was from I was away, but I heard it was quite successful with people visiting our local businesses on a Sunday. So they do a good job both for our businesses, for increasing business spend, but also marketing our area for tourism, which brings in more dollars and helps Swan Hill keep ticking along. So I congratulate the committee, the chairman, the boards and the committees they have that volunteer their time to pull all of this together and congratulate them and look forward to the next 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. Do I have any speakers against the motion? There being no speakers against the motion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 2.2, Service Performance Report 2023-24. Mr Pratap.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This report on service performance shows the achievement against the relevant standards and indicators. The Council reports on 178 indicators across 10 service areas, and this report is prepared in accordance with Section 106 of Local Government Act 2020. In 2023-24, the results show 71% of the service performance indicators were either achieved or exceeded. 90% of LGPRF indicators were within the expected range. The recommendation, Mr Mayor, that the Council approve for release of to the community the Swan Hill Rural City Council Performance Report 2023-2024 is presented. Happy to take questions, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Pratap. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Kelly.
I had a couple of questions. Our first one was on page 187. It's
187 of the agenda.
Of the report. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Page 41 of the report. It talks about maternal child health and the cost of maternal child health services to council. And there's a note that it's lower. There's a note below saying there's a variance because due to significant increase in one-off unexpected state funding grants during the financial year. So this year it was 110.38, which is lower than the last 2 previous years. So is that a case of it's like the opposite of cost shifting if it's actually getting less?
Those,
Mr Myers, thank you.
Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Kelly. The state government has been providing a number of one-off grants towards the enhanced maternal and child health, which is the more flexible funding. So that's reflected. It's also noted that if you're looking at the second one, the cost of MCH service. Yeah, so it remains within the target area, so that's why there was no note attached to it. Within the range that's acceptable under the local government performance reporting framework. So the note pertains to the net cost to council per consultation.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some extra money for the more high needs clients.
Yeah, great.
It was unpredictable.
Yep, thanks. My second question is under economic prosperity.
Page number, or is it the same page?
No, page 43 under economic development. It says achieve population growth for the municipality, and our target is 0.1%. Just those 3 figures after that, 1.1% growth, I take it. And how can we be reporting on this when we know that those figures are not accurate and that our population is not accurately recorded and the growth is not measured accurately either? So could the staff comment on how we can resolve that?
So I'll answer that question if you like.
Thank you, Ms. Grandel.
So we have been using the census statistics to report on this, as this is data that we have to use. We have an opportunity next year when we do a new council plan and we review the way we've been collecting data to use the reports that we've had done that show there's different statistics. But for this last report, we needed to be consistent.
Yeah.
Take on board your feedback.
Yeah, it's just...
Thank you. Do you have any further questions?
Well, my question is, how would that inaccuracy lead to negatives for the community? So if things are based on our population and it's not accurate, we're seen as not growing, but we probably are growing.
So from a statistics point of view, we've had the study done, which shows us that the population figures for Robinvale are particularly different, and that's been a huge target of our advocacy with the governments, both federal and state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the third question was just down below where it says number of days on page 45. Number of days, the indicator is average number of days required to issue a planning permit, and it's 106.5. Can the officer comment on for me, please, if we're going to see that changing and lowering, or is it going to stay that high level in the future months and years?
That's a difficult question to answer because it depends on the complexity of applications that we get. I would be hoping that it goes down. That's our aim now that we've recruited further planners to the team. But again, it depends what applications are in front of us and what the quality of the applications is as to how detailed the assessment is.
And so you've got a note there that you think the target should be reviewed.
Yes.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Young?
I'd like to move as per the recommendation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just had a question.
I'll take the motion and then take the
You can
question.
take the questions after.
Yeah. Do I have a second for the motion? Councillor Moore? Thank you. I'll note that. Councillor McKay, your questions?
Right, one related to the population as well. I was just, do you think, Ms. Granger, that we would revise the target up? 0.1% seems a tiny target for population growth.
I think we will. I think the housing targets that the government are now setting for us and the Victorian Future reports are probably not reflecting what is actually occurring. So I think we would aim for our target to be a bit higher.
Yeah. And I did have another question. It was also relating to that page about the building department. And it was just an aspect that I didn't understand properly, having done a few planning applications myself, or none, which was the average number of days required to issue a planning permit and the time taken to decide planning applications. How are they different? Like the issuing and the decide planning applications.
No.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, it is confusing that we're asked for an average and then we're asked for a median. And again, I think we will look at reviewing those markers
So
to
it's the
actually.
same thing.
It's supposed to be the same thing, but it actually is not reporting the same. So there's a substantial variation between our average and our median. And I think the median is really looking at, it reflects some of the really high number of applications and low number of days processing. So probably gives you more of an average.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I understand that. And the other question was, oh, sorry, gosh, thank you, Chris. Sorry, Councillor Jeffrey. Mr. Myers, on page 51, I mean, this report's very interesting, and if you get into it, not that but the operating cost for the community centres, NIA's cost is less, quite a lot less. I've sort of got an idea of why that might be, but I presume there's some particular reason.
I'll actually defer to Mr. Granger.
Sure, that's fine.
Yep.
That's okay. So NIA is largely booked for football and cricket and has a lot more bookings. They actually do their own cleaning, so we don't have to do as much cleaning. So that's why they're underreported compared to other community centres.
I thought that was probably the case. And the next question relates to, it was answered in the notes actually. I was interested in the swimming pool, but it was acknowledged in the notes. But on page 56, the report discusses the Robinvale Resource Centre and covers in detail the cost of providing customer services and revenue control services at the Robinvale Resource Centre. And I wondered why that is. We've noted it for Robinvale, but not for Swan Hill.
Through the Mayor to Councillor. That's because the Robinvale Resource Centre doesn't just provide exclusively services, council services.
Yes.
The majority of services provided from our Robinvale service point are actually Vic Roads and Centrelink or Services Australia.
Yes.
So it's a little bit more complex, and also I've noted since the completion of this report that we actually we probably need to look into the background a bit further to make sure, because this was separated originally, I understand, to ensure that we were getting enough money back from the state and the federal governments that are paying us to provide these services.
Yes.
But we haven't really been using that data the right way. So I've made a note for when we're reviewing this next year.
Yes.
There's a way that we can just get their actual real data, because also there are a number of major projects, like funded projects, that were also sitting inside that program budget, if you will.
Yes.
So it's not a true
Indication of the cost.
Yes.
And I would presume there's revenue that comes into us for providing that service.
Yes, we have funding agreements with Vic Roads and with Services Australia for providing those services, but I'd like us to get to a point where we can do an analysis of are they covering their costs better or not, so we can, when we negotiate or renegotiate contracts, it's a more accurate figure from our end. Yeah.
Did I miss it, or does the report then our costs of operating from our offices here in Swan Hill, are they part of this report? I didn't see that they were.
I believe that's the cost of providing customer service and revenue control services.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that core service operating from Slack Street, and then operating customer services from Robinvale Resource Centre is a different calculation. You'll note one's net customer service divided by total operating expenditure, and the other one is the cost divided by the population. So they've been treated very, very differently for a reason, but I'd like to work on the Robinvale one for next time round.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffrey?
Yeah, question on page 54. It's regarding the Swan Hill Indoor Sport and Recreation Centre. The question is, what's happening with the management of the centre? And second question is, will night netball be returned as a sport because it was run by the previous multiple managers that managed the centre?
Who can take that question?
Can you answer it or do I need to?
We will take that on notice, Councillor Jeffrey, and get back to you.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Young, do you wish to speak to the motion?
To the motion, yes. Thank you, Mr Mayor. This report actually overall is quite favourable to Swan Hill and what's going on. This has been a difficult year because we, as like a lot of people like to criticise council planning, but we've had so many staff changes and new staff that it's made a lot of extra challenges. And also with long-term older staff leaving as well, there's been a lot of changes and people have had to settle in. So while we've had a lot of criticisms in the different areas, I think they've actually done a really good job, and it's favourable. And then now it's going out to the community for feedback. We should then get any feedback that we need to have that could allow any changes to be made. So I just want to say I'd like to see it go through, and I think that anything that comes out of it in the negative is going to be overcome by positives. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Councillor Moore, you should speak.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is actually compulsory reading for all community members. This lays out specifically where councillors go, where the money goes from council, rather. This expenditure that rises. By way of example, unsealed road costs have risen 43% and 12% in the last 2 years. They're massive increases when the rate cap's only 2.5 or whatever it is, 2.7. So these are the challenges faced. You realise this when you read this document. The challenges faced by council and councillors going into the future. Landfill costs are up 31% over the last 2 years. They're massive cost increases, and landfill costs, of course, are passed on directly to the community. It's cost recovery. So, any one of these are cost of living crisis. When cost of waste management has gone up 31% in such a short time, and it costs to operate other facilities are all spelled out here. And the subsidies that council actually pays to run the pools, the art gallery, the town hall, they're all listed here. So that people can clearly understand where their dollars go. I know that with every rate notice goes out a summary of where the money goes, but this drills right down into it. And for anyone wishing to know, the figures are there, and the escalation in costs are there for all to peruse. But no, I look forward to this report every year, and I've read it every year even before I got onto council, to see exactly, to drill down into what happens with council finances and where the money actually goes. But no, a fantastic report and a great resource for the community. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Are there any speakers against the motion? If not, I will put the motion. Those in favour? The motion is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 2.3, the annual report of operations 2023-2024. Mr Patel.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This report is prepared and presented in accordance with the Local Government Act 2020. Section 100 requires that the Mayor report the implementation of the Council plan by presenting the annual report to the Council meeting, open to the public, and I present this report on behalf of the Mayor. In the year of general election, the report must be presented at least a day before the election day, which is on 26th of October 2024. So I present this report for Council's consideration. Some of the highlights of the annual report 23-24. Council received an unqualified audit opinion on the financial statements. Highlights community cost of living and inflation pressures, and Council's recruitment as challenges in the year 2023-2024. highlights the transition of in-home aged and community-based care from council to external service provided as a major change in the reporting period. Includes progress reporting on the implementation of the community vision and council plan 2021 to 2025 across the 4 strategic pillars of livability, prosperity, harmony and leadership. Recommendation, Mr. Mayor, that the council approve for the release of the to the community the Swan Hill Rural City Council Annual Report 2020-2024 as presented. Happy to take questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Are there any questions, councillors? Councillor Kelly.
I'll move
As per recommendation. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Moore. Do you wish to speak to the motion, Councillor Kelly?
Oh, does anyone have questions? I didn't want to.
There was no hand, so no. So you may speak to the motion.
Yes, in presenting this report, I'd like to thank the staff across the whole council organisation for all the work they've done to gather this report, particularly the comms staff who have compiled it and presented it in such a beautiful way. All the sections and the words, the reporting, the data, and particularly talking about the achievements and the range of events, and it's quite a pictorial, it's a good snapshot, and as Councillor Moore said with the previous report, it should be essential reading so that people know where their rates are going and what their council is doing, both the city and the councillors. So, yeah, there we go. It's a snapshot for what we've done for the last year, what our plans have been, our strategies and our performance. It's something we have to comply with. We don't have a choice of whether we present it or not, and it just so happens to land during caretaker mode, which is everything that lands in caretaker mode is a bit awkward. But it just shows the breadth of activities, spending, grants, efforts that the community has taken, and shows everyone the structure of council. It's basically the whole story in one document. So very happy to move the motion to have it tabled and released for the community.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Moore, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Councillor Kelly mentioned, compulsory reading, I also think for members of the community. The highlights of the year, I think, at least some of them bear mentioning here. The drainage strategy, which we're commencing, will be the foundation for significant growth for Swan Hill and its residential areas, and necessary and long overdue. Swan Hill's grown off the hill, it's now down on the flat, and that means that we have to put significant effort and resources into developing this drainage strategy for the high rainfall events that may occur in the future. The draft management plan, which there's significant changes within council, going to a four-stream system. And in conjunction with our composting facility, which we've been working towards for the last 7 years, this will be a major facility for council and the region. Dovetailing into that, these are major achievements that have been worked on for many years. The Housing Summit, and as previously mentioned in other agenda items, the continual challenge of funding for housing and proving our case through population has been an ongoing issue ever since we had the Robinvale population estimate and realised exactly what the numbers of people we really have here and what we can achieve if we get a legal available workforce for a start that are not flying under the radar and live and work and play here and spend their money here. And that's been ongoing for at least since the Robinvale Summit. and the first Robin Vale Housing Summit. So that good to see that continues and has grown legs for Swan Hill and the region. The river viewing platform, another long 5-year plan that was eventually achieved in this year. Fantastic to see down there. And I think the biggest winner of all is the Country University Centre. 110 students here. I chatted to the chief there last week at the show. They're now up to 130 students. This is such a magnificent facility for local students and visiting students even. Look, this is really good. The Country University campus has been one of the biggest achievements of the last at least 4 to 8 years. It's so good for our people and provides so many opportunities for people who cannot afford to go away or don't want to go away to study at university. So this, as I say, magnificent report, and again, compulsory reading. I know a lot of it people will glaze over, but there's some good meaty stuff in here and what council has achieved or facilitated over the last year.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Any speakers against the motion? If not, I will put the motion. No, I'll only take speakers if they're speakers against the motion, given the period that we're in. If there's no speakers against the motion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 2.4. Proposed date change for the November scheduled council meeting 2024. Mr CEO, your report.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. With the election, the latest that the election can be declared by the VEC is the 15th of November 2024. The next scheduled council meeting is the 19th of November. We're recommending to council that the new councillors will need a little bit more time to familiarise themselves, have an assembly, be sworn in before the next meeting. So we propose a reschedule of the date from the 19th of November through to the 26th of November. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Councillor Jeffrey?
Question? No. Will we be giving all the candidates prior notice that these meetings will be coming up if they are successfully elected? Will we be proactive with all the candidates and saying, if you are successfully elected, these are the dates that will be required to attend, like the assembly and this meeting, yes, so that they know now that they can look ahead rather than trying to organise a calendar 2 days out, etc.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We'll just say once it's approved, we'll start on that piece of work. Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey.
That's fine. I'm happy to move the motion if there's no more questions.
Thank you. Second, Councillor Moore. Do you wish to speak to the motion, Councillor Jeffrey?
Just given my experience in 2016 when I first got on council, and 1 week later they're making big planning decisions, to allow a bit of time for new councillors to be briefed, have a bit of a chat, get their head around everything that is required as a councillor, pushing it back to this date just gives them a little bit of breathing room to do the sworn in, do a bit of induction, do power work to get ready for the meeting. So I think it's quite appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. Councillor Moore, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, straightforward, common sense, and ditto to everything that Councillor Jeffrey said. Coming in 2016, same thing, just cold. It's just that bit of extra time. It just gets your head around everything. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you. Any speakers against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Section 3 of the agenda is officer reports for noting. The Audit and Risk Committee meeting minutes were circulated. Confidential minutes were circulated. Mr Pratat, do you have anything to add to this agenda item?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. No. The list of items that was discussed at the audit meeting on 5th is listed on page 259 and on the top of page 260. And I'll be happy to discuss the minutes in the camera item. Thank you.
If there's any questions, councillors, we will need to go into camera later on in the meeting. However, I will ask for, will there be any questions, councillors? So we no need to go into camera.
Yes.
You have questions on the minutes? We won't take them now. No, that's right. So we will need to go into camera. But we still know the contents there.
we better take the question.
Take the questions before
in
we...
case Councillor Kelly has a question that changes the council's decision.
Okay, thank you. So we'll defer that after we've been in camera, and then come out of camera and move the minutes, subject to the questions that are coming. So we'll move on to item 4 on the agenda, decisions which need action and ratification. Sign and seal, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Taken as read, just notifying that we've signed and sealed 1173 agreement as per delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. Have somebody to move that? I'll move. Councillor Jeffrey, second. Councillor Moore, you wish to speak? Councillor Moore, no. Those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, Councillor Assembly's record of attendance and agenda items. Mr. CEO.
As read, and if councillors have amendments or changes, to please let us know.
Thank you. Any changes to any of the items on there, councillors? If not, can I have somebody to move that item? Move Councillor Moore, seconded Councillor Young. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Being caretaker mode, there are no notice of motion. Do we have any foreshadowed items? I wouldn't have thought so. There'll be no... You wish to have a foreshadowed item?
No, because there's no use in me doing that.
No, that's why I've glazed over it. Do we have any urgent items not included in the agenda?
That's the one.
An urgent item?
Yeah.
We can't. No? The Governance Officer is telling me we cannot accept urgent items today. Thank you, Linda. So we'll jump to section 8 to consider an order on councillor reports. First one up from me, my only report for the month is the attachment that has been circulated. I'm not going to speak to that. It's all there. The report from the Australian Local Government Association conference back in July, with thanks to the CEO for his assistance in compiling the report, given that we were in different places at different times. Happy to take any questions, but it's all pretty straightforward and it's all on there. And there's other information that's not included in the report that is available to the general public on the Australian Local Government Association website. Councillor Kelly, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks for the report. I am just scrolling through to my question. On page 299, it says that you went along to a panel on climate change and renewable energy, and that you asked a question. I'm just keen to. It doesn't say what the answer to the question was. You put a question to Minister Bowen. Finding the right balance between chasing renewable goals in unrealistic timeframes versus modifying the targets and goals to ensure better community understanding and engagement. I suppose it's hard to remember after such a big conference what the answer was. But
yeah, and obviously the answer to the question was significantly long, and I was standing with the microphone so I didn't summarise the answer to the question, but basically the government has their agenda in relation to their targets and goals, and that's what they're going for. Yeah, I'm not sure that there was a lot of scope for input for our local government area or any other local government area into that.
Yeah, and
into that. It is a federal issue.
And your second part about the transmission lines?
Yes, so Minister Bowen responded and said that he was aware of that report. However, the government's preference is to construct new transmission lines rather than to upgrade old transmission lines.
Good questions.
Can I just say, Mr Mayor, that's the most comprehensive report that I've seen from any trip to the conference, and well done. I think you really covered everything that you'd possible to do there, and just shows the real value of actually us having a presence there in most years, nearly every year. It's very important. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. And as I said, with a number of sessions running concurrently, I thank the CEO for his input into the report as well. And as I said, much of this information and more of this information is available on the ELGA website and can be viewed by the general public as well. I have nothing further to report for the month, councillors, and hence why there's no, I don't have a report to attach. Given it has been the election period, caretaker mode, I haven't attended any community meetings as such. The only thing was the official duties with the Yamagata delegation over the last couple of days, and what a pleasure it was to have them in our city, in our region, to celebrate the 40th anniversary, albeit in the 44th year of the sister-city relationship. So I'll go around the room. Does somebody want to volunteer to go first with any councillor reports? Yeah. Councillor Moore?
Nothing.
Nothing to report?
I'm finished.
Councillor Jeffrey?
Just got the Rural Players Association time, which I put in my report, that may not be here next month, so it was the last meeting of this term, so put that in there as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McKay?
I attended the Yamagata reception last night. It was really lovely, especially the dancing. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Councillor Young, do you have anything to report?
Yes, I apologise for not putting it in. I just
That's okay.
thought of it a minute ago. I did go to the Swanhill board meeting and where they arranged and welcomed a new officer. Went to Anne Webster's meeting at the Commercial Hotel. The CFA awards and medals presentations at the Grange, which was some of the film and presentations that they did were quite confronting about dealing with the bushfires. But they had over 50 medal presentations, and it's really quite pleasing to see that so many people volunteer to do this work. So congratulations to all those people, and thank you for all their efforts. Then the Yamagata official welcome, where they first came off the bus, and then the function at the town hall, the launching of the plaque at the Yamagata Garden, and then the civic function at the art gallery and the farewell. I also went to various CUC meetings and activities during the month. So that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Councillor Kelly?
I attended the drainage study consultation at the town hall and would like to report that it was very well attended, with the consultants getting a lot of information. I went to a Sustainable Living the Mallee meeting. Rural Councils Victoria held a Zoom meeting on the 12th of September, which was good. The chair of that is standing down, so it was good to hear her report and the thanks given to her. Swanhill Theatre Group production of Annie. Mindfree Mallee Farms put on a movie at the Grain Shed called Minefield. I recommend everyone watch. That was on the 18th of September. Harmony Day Committee meeting on the 19th. And Central Murray Football League Grand Finals. I'm sure most people went to that. I did a waste incineration and the environment Zoom meeting on the 24th of September. Friends of Tintinda Homestead meeting. I attended the Swanhill show. I think it's really good that we go to the show so that we can understand what the Show Society need in regards to the master plan. And Swanhill Market at Riverside Park on the 6th of the 10th. And I attended the Go North Arts Festival on the weekend, which had at least 6 or 7 great artists and some incredible music, but unfortunately wasn't well attended, I'd say. And I went to the Yamagata farewell event last night, which was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Given there is a report from Elga in there, I will ask that the councillor could have a mover for the councillor reports, please. Move Councillor Moore, second to Councillor Jeffrey. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. I will now ask that we move to go into camera. Thank you, Councillor Moore. Seconder, Councillor Jeffrey. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. So we'll just go into camera. Do we need to... Thank you. We are back. So just the outcome of the in-camera item is the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting have been moved and seconded and approved by the Council. So thank you for that. There being no further business, prior to closure of the meeting, I'd just like to say thank you to the councillors present for your service over the last 4 years or part thereof, to the Swan Hill Rural City Council. In particular, I'd like to thank Councillor Moore and Councillor Young, who have chosen not to renominate, and thank you for your service to the Swan Hill Rural City Council over the last 8 years. Thank you to the public for taking interest, and I wish the new incoming council well at the conclusion of the election period and declaration of results. So thank you again, everybody, and I will officially close the meeting at 2:55 p.m. Thank you.